Hello. Okay. So, boy, September 23rd, here we are. Okay. I'm trying to orient. I think it's officially the autumnal equinox. Yeah, today or right in this zone. So here we are. Welcome to our transition to fall. Our class title today is called Resilience. It's also about the rising and fallings. And as some of you know, at the tail end of last class, I was receiving a phone call from my son, and I took that call as soon as I ended class and found out that he had fallen and gotten a concussion, which thankfully was relatively mild, and had to have some stitches and all of those things. That 6 days after we've dropped him off to college, this occurs, right? And so it kind of launched him and launched Mama Heart into navigating his care. What does he need? How do we help him get through the other side? All of which happened. So within 2 weeks, he was cleared to ride again and had a really awesome follow-up race, which was great. And then he took another little fall this week, thankfully did not hit his head, but hurt his hand. And so we weren't sure if he was going to ride this week. And lo and behold, he is, but I know nothing about what's happening out there. Right? And so I've been thinking a lot over these past 3 weeks or so about these risings and fallings, and about a parable that I had read, I want to say 30 years ago, that kind of always stuck with me. And I'm going to share a kind of shortened version of this parable here, as it feels very relevant. And the parable is both about kind of what I would call the ability to see the big picture, or sometimes that's even the definition of equanimity. It's the ability to see the big picture and not get caught up in the momentary risings and fallings, but actually kind of step back. So in this parable, there's an old man in a village, and he's very poor, and even the kings are so jealous of him, however, because he has this pristine, gorgeous horse, this absolutely stunning horse. The kings try and buy the horse from him, but he refuses. The horse is sacred to him. It's a family member in a sense. And so anyway, one day the man wakes up and the horse is gone. It's out. It's not in the stable. And all the village people come in and they say, "You stupid old man, you should have sold the horse for all of that money when you had the chance. Your horse has been stolen." And this man was not stupid. He was very wise. And he says, "Well, don't go so far to say that. This is only one part of the story. I don't know what will happen next. Maybe it is misfortune, but maybe it's not." And 2 weeks later, the horse comes back with 12 more horses in tow. And the horse had run free and brought back all of these wild horses. And so now what had been potential misfortune could be potential fortune, right? And all of the village people come back and they say, "You were so right. This was fortune indeed. And look at all of this incredible bounty that has come to you." And he says, "I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's only part of the story." And the next thing that happens is that the poor man has only one son, and this one son is training the wild horses, and he gets thrown from one of the wild horses and he breaks both of his legs and loses the ability to walk, right? All of the men come in the village. "How terrible. This is misfortune. You were right. We shouldn't have thought that this was good news." And he says, "We don't know." Well, in the next year, the country goes to war, and all of the sons are taken away to go fight as soldiers, except for the old man's son, the poor man's son, because he doesn't have use of his legs. And of course, you can see how this story goes on. And and really what I take away, and I think what I want to encourage us all perhaps to reflect on today, is that at any point in the kind of momentary experience of our lives, we can look at an event and we can cast a whole lot of story around it, or catastrophizing around it, or judgment, good or bad. And what happens when we take it as it comes? What happens when we trust in our ability to withhold some of that immediacy of judgment upon it and just be open to what is? My husband and I both take yoga from a local teacher here, and she was teaching on the subject of santosha, or the kind of yogic concept of contentment. And that contentment isn't always about getting everything just perfect so that we can be content. That santosha is about being okay with what is. And I have to say that when I received the news about my son 3 weeks ago, I could not have received that news at a better moment in time, because we had just finished our practice. And I felt so capable of showing up for the experience, right? And that is my biggest hope. That for me is resilience. Resilience doesn't mean that we're not going to face future hardship. It's trusting in our ability to navigate it. Yeah. So, thank you. I do have a poem, and then we'll drop into our practice together. This poem is by Mark Nepo. If any of you are familiar with Mark, I know, right? Thanks, Julie. Right? If any of you are not familiar, go get familiar with Mark Nepo. This is from Mark Nepo's newest book. He had posted this poem online, and I was just like, oh, this is the poem for class. And it's coming out with his newest book, which is on the topic of resilience. This poem is called Anthem. Yes, you fell down. I feel for you, for I have fallen many times. Now you must get up. I know it isn't easy. I know it will take time. Remember, the seed can't imagine breaking ground, and the fledgling can't imagine flying. And so your broken heart can't imagine finding its way. But life is this repeating journey, from sleep to wakefulness, from blindness to sight, from fear to love. No matter how many times we fall, we are just beginning. Yeah. We'll hear it again at the end. We're going to go practice rising and falling together. Truly, okay? In this practice, because we're doing some balance play, it will invite you to come out of balance a little bit. That's kind of the point. If we stay in the comfort zone the whole time, we don't touch the growth edge. Okay. So let's play. Find your edge, back away from it if it gets too shaky. And I trust our journey together. I'm going to move back to my mat. It is helpful to have a few blocks. If you know my class, those are kind of always my standard props, and anything else that you like to have with you. Go. I'm going to do one more thing. Pardon me for a second. Okay. In this first little part of the practice, I'm going to face you, but I'll describe at one point. It will be helpful to have the long end of your mat behind you, and you'll see me turn, and I'll say when we're going to want that. Okay. But to begin, I would love to invite you to take a moment and arrive with, especially all that I just shared, the parable, the poem, the stories, your own unique events of the last 3 weeks or 3 years, the risings and fallings. Maybe with all of that in mind, tuning into what might be percolating as a seed of an intention that you would like to focus on today. I will offer up my intention. You are welcome to engage in it with me. My words chosen for today are: I trust. I am supported through the risings and the fallings. I am resilient. And if you'd like, beginning just to rub your palms together, be gentle, or it can be vigorous, it's up to you. A way of waking up the sensations in your hands, maybe a little bit of warmth if it's a little chilly still in the morning. And then if you feel comfortable, bringing your fingertips to your forehead, maybe your palms across your cheekbones, that self-applied touch and the most gentle, loving greeting of yourself, waking up the feeling of your face. It always can be nice to pause for a moment in those little pressure points between the eyebrows, under the eyes, across the tops of your cheekbones, maybe even the lower edge of your cheekbones sliding out from the edges of your nostrils towards your ears. And if you like a little bit of ear massage, you can massage the earlobe, give a little squeeze, a little hug to the tragus, that little bit of cartilage in front of the ear, or even the concha, the seashell of your ear with your fingertips. That's the area of your earlobe around the ear canal itself. Good. And then greeting your neck, jaw. You might even open and close your jaw. Stick your tongue out. Let a sound come out. Even sigh something out. So good. You can massage the front and back of your neck. And shoulders down to elbows. A little self-havening. Morning wake up. At least it's morning here. I know for some of you it's early evening. So just greeting yourself as you are, where you are. Good. And then from here, I'm going to invite you to come into a cobbler shape. So kind of a diamond with your legs, feet together, and maybe just a few rotations. I can say it now, look, ma, no hands. You can use your hands on your legs if you'd like, or you can churn with your arms a little bit. Forward and back. And the other direction. Coming into your breath with these movements. Beautiful. And then to center. And we'll create what we'll call the uneven cobblers. So my left foot is in front slightly of my right. So my right toes are by my left heel. And then with this, a gentle leaning forward. And you can lean forward with a long spine. It's always going to be the most integrous for your low back. So you can lean forward with a long spine, or if it feels okay to round, you might choose to round. But listen to your body, right? Everything in here is with choice. And that choice gets, in a sense, dictated or designed by what feels right for you. Good. And then from here, lifting back up from that uneven cobbler, and I'll invite you to take your left leg with you. And just a few rotations in each direction, foot around ankle. Lower leg around knee, each way. And then if you'd like, nice big wide hip circles. We're not here too long, just a greeting of all the joints in your lower body. And then many of you know this transition. We'll come into deer. Deer is with now left knee towards right foot, left foot behind. And the invitation is to curl a little bit around to the right and back. And again, this is a nice gentle warming up. So when we come into any twist, there is no forcing. It's honoring, it's smooth. This one is so lovely for a gentle stretch into the psoas and hip flexor. You can even lift your left arm up overhead. Beautiful. And then as we come back around, here's where, as you lift your left leg back up and around, we're going to go crossing over the right. And here's where having the long end of your mat behind you is going to come in handy in a moment. Now, in this seated twist, if I show it from another angle, we're going to turn towards the left, but look, no hands. This is an opportunity to find a twist without feeling like we're cranking into it with the arms against the legs. So you can, again, just like we did a moment ago, come in and out of this twist to the left. But nothing is forced. There's no goal to achieve. We're in the journey. Yeah. Good. As you come back forward, now let your legs come with you. See how this feels. If you want to lower yourself softer, go for it. Otherwise, we're going to roll back. You can take a few rolls if you'd like. Just rolling back. Third one, we're going to stay back and come into a supine figure 4. So my left ankle's over the top of my right thigh. And you can use your hands behind your right leg. You might circle it out a little bit, draw your legs in, press your legs into your hand, feeling just the nuance, the subtleties in your left hip. And then releasing your hands, crossing left leg fully over right and reaching down to take hold of opposite ankles or shins and a little bit of a supine shoelace. Or we've got Gomukhasana legs, and you can use your hands here just to, again, get into your hips a little bit. Nothing forced. Gorgeous. And then we're going to unwind. Keep your left leg with you as you send your right leg long. And many of you have done this with me. We're going to press left knee into your hands. Maybe you curl through your upper body. Maybe you hover your right leg. Just a gentle awakening of the core in this shape. And also that resistance moves as you press shin into hands. Hands resist back, and you might even get a little shake in there. Good. And then lowering it all back down. Releasing your hands to press now on the top of your left thigh, and it's a resistance in the opposite direction, like you're trying to draw your left leg towards your chest and your hands are pressing your left leg away. All right, let's let that go. We're going to take hands behind the knees, and if it's comfortable to transition back up to sitting via rocking and rolling, that's what we're going to do. And eventually making your way back up to sitting. Cobblers, second side, uneven cobbler, right foot slightly in front of the left toes are by the right heel. And finding your variation of a folding in. That can be long spine or rounding spine. And your breath, essential. Oh. Beautiful. As we lift up, right leg is going to come for the ride, and we're going to begin those joint rotations, right ankle in each direction, right shin. You might get some snap, crackle, pops in there going each way. And then nice, big, broad circles, your hip in one way, the other way. And remembering it's still early in practice, we're going to go into deer. This time the twist is toward the left, and you come in and out, really following and finding what feels supportive, nourishing. Maybe even your right arm lifts overhead. Let the sound match the feeling. Good. And as we come back to center, right leg is going to come up, around, and all the way over. So we're coming into that seated twist. This time the twist is toward the right, and I'll invite this to be hands-free so that you really aren't tempted to push yourself past where your spine and core can actually be in integrity and support. So a nice little flow. One more. Good. And then from here, this is where having your long edge of your mat behind you is helpful. And the invitation is to find a few rock and rolls. Now I'm keeping my right ankle across the left knee so that the third time I roll back, I come into a supine figure 4. And a nice place to pause from all that movement and find the more subtle shape, the subtle sensations in the shape. Coming back to breath. And then from here, crossing right over left, reaching down and around to take hold of opposite ankles. And it could be nice to flex your feet here. Notice how that feels. You can point your feet. Notice how that feels. And then as we unwind, we're keeping the right leg in as you extend your left leg long. And you can start out with left foot fully extended long on the floor. And then begin to press your right shin into hands, resisting with hands. You can begin to lift. You can hover your left leg. Maybe you get a little shake in there. And then as you settle back down, let everything relax down, but we are going to find that static press. Right leg this time into hands, hands pressing back. And then letting that go. Now, this time, instead of rocking up, unless you need to rock up to get your block, which I might be able to get it without rocking, it is helpful to have a block for where we're going next. If you don't have a block, this can be done without it, but I will talk you through with the block. So where we're going to go next is I will invite you to take both knees up, using your hands, pressing both knees into your hands and resisting with both hands. Now notice what happens in your low belly. Come back to breath. Little shake. Lovely. And then we're going to find the opposite. So hands over shins, pressing shins into hands, and that firm resistance. And something a little different, letting that go. Right knee into right hand, left, right hand on top of the right thigh. Okay, so we've got press thigh in this direction, left hand on the top of left shin, pressing your knee away. So we've got a little opposite action. Takes a little bit of coordination to think about this. Right thigh pulling in, resisting with your hand, left leg trying to push away or up, resisting with your hand. Good, let that go. Shake it out if you like. We're taking the opposite. Left hand, left thigh, right hand, right shin, and pressing your knees in opposite directions. So these are stabilizers for the muscles in the pelvis. It's been a topic in the vagal toning class, and I thought I'd revisit these. And then releasing, letting it go. You might even take your hands on your knees and just circle out on your sacrum, one direction and then the other. Next one, hands on the outside of both legs. And as if you're trying to press your hand, well, you are pressing your legs into your hands and you're resisting hands back to legs. Now it's a little work for the arms too. Come back to breath. And then let that go. And here's where block can come in handy. Block between your inner thighs, pressing inner thighs in towards your block. So we're pressing in that inward firming direction. And then keeping your block where it is. You don't have to do such an active press unless you feel like you'll drop the block, but just let the block kind of rest there. Legs can fall in, feet to the floor. I'll just speak for a moment as you integrate all of that, which is that when we're stabilizing the muscles around the SI joint and sacrum and pelvis, it can provide a really deep sense of security, because when we have kind of overstretched or over flexible ligaments and muscles in the pelvis and around the sacrum, it can feel very unstable inside of us. So we're building a little bit more of that inner stability through this deep low core work. Keeping the block here, we're going to add on to our core work by bringing hands behind the head. We could call it core play if you'd like. Maybe we'll call it core play. And on an exhale, we're going to lift through the upper body. And on an inhale, we're going to come down. And you can stay just with that. Or you might add on, which is that as we lift, we inhale, keeping upper body up, lengthen through the legs, exhale, feet to the floor, and lower down through the upper body on the inhale. Let me talk it through with the breath. Exhale, upper body lifts. Inhale, legs lift. Exhale, legs lower. Inhale, upper body lowers. Exhale, upper body. Inhale, legs. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale, lift. Inhale, legs. Exhale, legs. Inhale, upper body lowers. One more time. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. All right. Take that in for a moment. How are you feeling? We're going to do the same kind of movement except with a twist. So this time we exhale toward the right and inhale back down. And you can stay just like that. Or exhale toward the right, inhale, legs, exhale, legs, inhale to center and down. Exhale to the left, inhale, legs, exhale, inhale back to the earth. And you can just be going side to side with your upper body. That is plenty if you're adding the legs. Exhale to the side, inhale and exhale, lower your legs and inhale back down, finding your own pace side to side. Two more. Good. And coming back to center when you feel complete. You can move the block off to the side, perhaps drawing your knees into your chest again, maybe a little rock side to side. And if those rocks along the spine work for you, hands behind the knees and rocking and rolling here. Beautiful. All right, blocks back to the top. And we are going to rock right up and over the knees, coming into your cat-cow moving meditation. So just allowing yourself to move in any way that serves you here. It's also a chance to hydrate if you're feeling the need for that. Good. And for today, I will also guide us into a little bit of toes pose. So toes pose, toes curl under, and you begin to walk yourself back so that your hips are stacking on your heels, and you might stay leaning forward, or you might walk your shoulders to stack above your hips, above your heels. And you can even reach down and broaden out through your toes, and a few breaths into the soles of your feet. Not here too long. One more breath. And then unwind from that. You might tap out through the tops of your feet for a moment. And then if it works for you, sitting on top of your heels in rock pose, this might be plenty to open up through the fronts of your ankles or the fronts of your knees. You might want to sit up on a block or bolster if it's too much. If you're looking for a little more, you can open through the fronts of the ankles by lifting one knee and the other. Again, for my hyperflexy people, be very mindful of your joints. You can even lift both knees together for a moment. We're not here very long. And then right up and out, curling both toes under again, just as we were, and this time pressing back so that you're now up onto your toes in a little tight ball squat. So my knees are together in this one, and you can even bounce it out a little bit, bounce your ball. Sometimes in classes that I take, this gets called ball of yarn pose. You can even curl yourself forward, let go of the bounce, just let your head hang a little bit, nose towards knees. You might even play with balance. What happens if you take your hands off the ground and balance on the balls of your feet? Now, the earth is very close to us in this moment, so you can play around. You might even close your eyes. And guess what? If you fall out, totally okay. We're all going to meet back in a tabletop. And once again, you might flutter out through your shins or rotate through your feet for a moment. Now, this next one will be a little familiar. We've been doing this the last few classes. I'll invite you to take your left heel back, give a few rocks on your left foot, and then taking right shin back, opening up into a variation of a side plank here. Right hand, right knee down. And then I'll invite you to kind of bend and fold forward, left hand towards left foot, and then open it back up. Exhale, folding in. Inhale to open. Exhale, doesn't matter if you touch the foot. Inhale. And one more. Good. And then from here, we're just going to take it right back down through table. We'll find all of that on side two. And take that nice rocking motion, right heel. And then sending left shin back, up and overhead. And then on an exhale pattern, reaching back towards your right foot and inhale to lift. Maybe two more of those. It feels good to me. Hopefully it feels good to you. You know, even though I keep mentioning that we're going to challenge ourselves, hopefully this challenge comes in the context of feeling good, coming back through tabletop. Right? Otherwise, I'm not sure what the point is. So we're really going for that kind of right edge of joy and something new. Curling toes under, inhale here, and exhale, I'll invite you to come into first downward facing dog. And you can take your time here, just as we did in tabletop, walking out one knee and the other, maybe bending both knees. You can drop your heels one side and the other. You might even choose to lift one leg and lower it down, lift the other. Beautiful. And then from here, I'll invite us to come into a low lunge. So drawing your right leg back and behind, inhale, exhale, stepping forward and through. And here's where those blocks can come in handy. Maybe a few breaths here in your low lunge exploratory movements. Kind of spontaneous or guided by your sensations. Right? How does your body want to move in this initial shape? Knee down or knee lifted? And eventually I'm going to guide you to shorten your stance. You can slide that left foot in a little bit, and we'll come into a variation here of pyramid. Now in pyramid, Traditionally, both legs are straight. You can always keep a micro bend in your right knee. And we'll start out, and this is why I like the blocks. You can have them at any height, starting out with a nice long spine. And just feeling that integrity of the legs. You can even imagine drawing the legs toward each other, or as if you could have a block between them, squeezing them in towards midline a little bit. And then as you breathe in the shape, you might find that that long spine can lower down a little bit, or you might want to round, making it yours. Beautiful. Coming back up to that halfway lift, and this time leaning into your right foot enough to send your left foot back further. And then from this longer stance, I'll invite you to come into Trikonasana from the ground up. And some of you have done this with me before, if you've taken with me recently. And we're going to take that transition a few times through. So you can rebend into your right leg, face the earth, and then begin to lengthen out. Again, you can keep that micro bend in your front knee, and then eventually maybe gazing up towards your left hand. Gazing down, forward, or up, coming back to breath and letting it feel good. And then slowly soften your way back to the earth through that low lunge. This time, invitation to take left knee to the earth, and then maybe twisting over towards the right. You can even, if you choose, begin to walk your right heel toward the right so that there's a little bit more open space here. And you can have your right hand on your right thigh, twisting towards right. Or maybe you bend left leg, you reach toward it or take hold of it. Remember, it's the journey, not the goal. And then slowly we unwind. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. In this downward dog, since there's been a unevenness between left and right sides, having just done that sequence on the right, just notice how your body feels. Maybe a readiness to even it out. I'll invite you to take left leg up and exhale forward into your lunge. And for the first little while here, the first few breaths, just your own free flow exploration. Warming up into side two, greeting left hamstring, right hip flexor. Good. And as we explore it on the other side, our first shape from here, guided shape from here, will be pyramid. So as you lift through right leg, we're going to send weight into the left and slide your right foot forward enough to find this pyramid shape. And in pyramid, we're also kind of evening out through the pelvis. So you might even imagine you could place a little teacup up here. We've got a nice parallel sacrum to the earth, parallel pelvis. And then you can lift your blocks at any height if you've got them to support that long spine. And as we breathe in any shape, things begin to open or change, and you might notice that it feels comfortable or inviting to fold forward a little more. You can find that same quality of squeezing legs toward each other. How does that change the shape? Coming back to breath. Good. And then again, we're going to slide the right foot back so you can weight into your left foot, sliding back. And we're coming into that Trikonasana from the ground up. And so you can start with facing the earth, beginning to open as you lengthen through your left leg, and repeat that as many times as you'd like. Eventually, you might pause, enjoy your Trikonasana. Your block can be under your left hand for support. You can always micro bend through the left knee. Beautiful. And then returning back down to low lunge, this time, right knee to the earth. You can even toe heel out through your left foot. And you can begin to see how it feels to turn toward the left. That can be plenty. You might reach your right arm around. You might bend through your left arm, right foot. You might bend through your right leg. And even though it can feel a little bit like a game of Twister, there is no goal to achieve. So anywhere in the range of what feels good and like a little bit of a stretch, a reach, an opening. And then we come back around and we meet in downward facing dog. All right. So when I was putting together today's sequence, I felt quite called to revisit a little bit of a playful transition process that we did last class. And I'm going to try and get the breath to sync with it this time. So we're going to inhale here, exhale, right shin and left shin. Inhale, right foot, left foot. And exhale. Oh, I'm so not getting this breath right. Inhale down. Exhale, right shin. Exhale, left shin. Planting hands. Inhale, right leg. And inhale, left leg plank. It's fast. It's playful. We're going to exhale back to downward dog. Inhale here. I'm going to try and talk it with breath. Find your own breath that suits you too. Inhale here. Exhale right. Exhale left. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I think it's kind of working. Find a free breath here. Inhaling here. Exhale right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Plank. And exhale, downward dog. Whether we found it with the breath or didn't, it's over. But it's, for me, been something I've been enjoying playing with. Okay. For today, our next transition to standing is going to happen at the front of the mat. So letting your feet walk towards your hands, and it's a block supported transition, which means that the invitation is to place the block between your inner thighs. And then I'm going to show this from the side, block here, squeezing in towards midline once again, and an invitation to take your spine very long and your hands back along your spine. Okay, so this is a great place to stay. As you squeeze the block, you can send your weight back towards your heels. And as if you were to press your heels away from each other, press the feet away like you're trying to widen out your mat. Notice what happens as you squeeze the block, but try and press your feet outward. Okay, you can stay here, or maybe you send your arms forward. Come back to your breath. And then pressing into feet all the way to standing. Whew. Letting the block go. And a moment to arrive, new relationship to gravity, and what's present for you here. I trust. I am supported through the risings and fallings. I am resilient. For a little standing balance play, we're going to revisit a shape that we did 2 classes ago. This one is an invitation to find some uneven variations of a half moon flow. So we'll draw the arms up overhead as the inhale. On the exhale, I'll invite you to lean towards the left. So I am now going to really emphasize the standing right leg, and then maybe send your left leg up off the ground. So we'll call this the inner leg lift. And we're not here too long. Come on back through, 2 feet on the ground. Inhale. Exhale toward the right. You can gaze down or ahead, sending your weight into your left foot. And inner leg lift, right leg, maybe comes off the ground. Little, ooh, right? Coming in and out, falling out, totally welcome. Okay, and back to the earth. Take it out for a moment. What is that? There's this dance. I don't remember the name of it. Popular. Okay. We're going to go into the other side. So by other side, inhaling, exhale, we're leaning to the left, this time sending weight into your left leg and letting your right leg fly. Little shooting star moment. And back through center. Wiggle it out. Inhale. Leaning to the right. It's an outer leg lift, so right leg is your standing base. Let the left leg literally just fly up. Sometimes when we're doing this, there's a quality of sensation of just pure lift that happens. Easy for you, close your eyes. Okay, come on back out and let it go. Beautiful. All right, we'll find just a little bit of a sun salutation flow here. Just integrating it, grounding. Inhale, sweeping your arms. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, planting your hands. I'll invite you to step back. And for this first one, if it feels supportive, knees down, chest and chin down, settle to earth. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, soften to the earth. I like to move through table into downward facing dog and let that whole process be guided by your sensations. What feels good to you? We'll breathe here in downward dog, but knowing that you can always opt for child's pose. And then eventually, when you feel ready, if you feel ready, wandering to the front of your mat, inhale, finding a halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to stand. Exhale, samastitihi. Equal standing, a prayer for equal standing. Inhale to sweep arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, your choice. You can go knees, chest, chin to earth. You might go high plank, low plank, rolling over toes for upward dog. One way or another, we meet downward facing dog. And then when you're ready, we transition to the front once again. Hop, step, however you want to get there. Finding your halfway lift and a fold. And lengthening all the way to standing. Samastitihi. Prayer for equal standing. Equanimity, and for today, that ability to see the big picture. Good. All right. We're going to do a little bit more balance play into another standing flow. And we're going to call our first little playful move here parachutes. And then we'll take parachutes into an airplane. So sometimes we take parachutes out of an airplane in the sky out there, but today we're going to take our parachute into the airplane. Okay, so what does all of this mean? What are you making up here, Ariel? All right, we're going to bend our knees into an Utkatasana-like shape, okay? And I'll show it from the side, and then I want to show it facing you. We're going to inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale back. And then inhale, left leg is going to come with. And exhale, left leg is going to come down. That's our parachute. Inhale, right leg is going to lift. And exhale down. Yeah, you kind of get the feeling for that. Inhale left. I just think this is a little bit like that, Karate Kid, right? And wax on, wax off. All right, I'm going to show it from the side again. Inhale left. Exhale down. So why is this a parachute? Inhale right. We're drawing everything in via the pelvic floor, those core muscles we played with on our backs. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Inhale left, right leg lifts. Exhale left. Now here's where we're going parachute airplane, okay? You can watch first time if you'd like. Inhale left. Exhale, airplane. All right, let's go airplane parachute. Exhale down. Inhale, right, parachute. Exhale, airplane. Inhale, parachute. Exhale, chair. Let's do that one more time each side. Inhale, left. Exhale. Inhale, parachute. Exhale. We get flying lessons today. Inhale, right. Exhale, airplane. Inhale, parachute. Exhale. And pause for a moment. Just let your cardiovascular system accommodate this one, because I don't know about you, but my heartbeat is a little elevated with that. It's kind of the point. We're building that capacity. Let that happen, and then let it integrate through. Nice. Okay. When you're ready, here's where this goes next. Same starting point. When we go from, rather than coming back from airplane back to parachute, we're going to go airplane into a low lunge. And then I'm going to show you what comes next. It's fun, I think. It's fun and challenging. Okay. Inhale, just chair. Exhale, sweeping arms. Inhale, parachute left. Exhale, airplane. Inhale, crescent. And if it takes a little footwork, if your foot didn't go right where you wanted it to the first time round, take your time, get your base. The inhale is here. Listen carefully. We're going to repeat this a few times so you can watch the first one. Exhale, we're going to draw arms back. Inhale, sliding left foot along the mat, one-legged chair. Exhale, back to crescent with arms back. Inhale, slide your left foot, maybe hover, one-legged chair. Exhale, back to crescent. One more time. If you liked it, you might want more. If you didn't like it, we're almost done. Inhale, maybe hover. Exhale, good. Crescent. And then we're going to open up. Familiar shape, warrior two. You can toe heel your feet out a little bit. Feeling 2 feet on the ground. This is our recovery shape. If you need more recovery, child's pose is always there for you. Coming back to breath. Inhale, reaching away from the front bent leg. Exhale, extended side angle. Forearm can come to your thigh. Maybe you want your hand to a block. And again, a few breaths here. Gaze might be down to the side or lifted. And then slowly lifting up out of the side, turning both feet forward. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, horse, turning toes out, heels in. And we'll do our little polarity flow in horse. You can bring your hands here to your thighs, dipping one shoulder, coming through center. Exhale, other shoulder dips. And one more time each side. Inhale, I'll invite you to come to center. Now, I'm going to turn towards my left foot, towards the back of the mat. Just as a transition, it also keeps me facing you as we go. If you need to adapt this differently, feel free. Inhale, lifting through your left arm, and exhale, we're going to cartwheel down to the earth and your way to downward facing dog. Now remember that downward dog is our resting shape, and if resting for you is a different shape, maybe a puppy dog, hips over knees. Whatever is most supportive, most nourishing. And then eventually making your way to the front of your mat, however you would like to get there. Finding your halfway lift, your forward fold, and coming all the way to standing. We'll find all of this on side 2. So we begin with chair pose, bending the knees. Inhale, sweeping your arms up. Exhale, arms back. Inhale, lifting right knee, parachute. Exhale, airplane. Inhale, crescent. And take your time finding the shape, adjusting your stance. You can always keep a bend in your right knee. It's my preference in this shape. And then exhale, we're sweeping arms back. Kind of parallel with your torso in a sense. And on an inhale, sliding right foot forward, maybe hover one leg chair, and exhale, crescent. Inhale. And exhale. There's just one more of those. Inhale. You don't have to hover the foot, right? Toes can be your kickstand. Exhale. I should have said that a while ago. Okay. And then from your crescent with airplane arms, we're going to open it up to warrior 2. Familiar shape for many of us. Nice grounding shape, really feeling your legs have you. You might feel your legs for the rest of the day. That's kind of the purpose, what we're after here. And then inhale, reaching away from your front bent leg. And exhale into extended side angle. Maybe you reach your right arm overhead. Your gaze can be down, forward, lifted. Your breath is your connection point. And inhale, we lift up, turning both feet forward. 5-pointed star. This time, I'll invite you to take your hands behind you. You might even pigeon toe your toes just slightly as we prepare for a forward fold. Now, if you want your hands for your forward fold, don't clasp them. Use them on the way down, or even use a block to bring the floor closer, working with that long spine. Otherwise, if you're clasping your hands forward folding, we come into Yogi Mudra, and those clasped hands can come up overhead. Now, whatever shape you're choosing, you're not bound to it, right? Even if we're in a binded shape, you can always change it up. Let go of your hands, find the floor, feel that support for the risings and fallings, right? Come in and out. And then slowly, by way of sacrum, if your hands are bound, releasing them to the earth to find a halfway lift. My personal preference as a transition to standing is to bring heels in, toes slightly out, rebend the knees, hands to thighs, and use that support to transition all the way up, especially if you're prone to a little bit of lightheadedness in that transition. Palm to belly, palm to heart, and let yourself regulate here. Good. We're going to switch around to the original front. Okay. Inhale, sweeping away. And exhale down to the earth, your way to downward facing dog. All right. That was the exertion challenge portion of today. So if you made it this far, we are making our way closer to the earth. Inhale, I'll invite you to draw right leg back, and exhale, right knee towards your right wrist. So we'll come into pigeon. If you know that your body doesn't do pigeon very happily, you come into supine forward, or supine figure 4 on your back. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're coming into pigeon, you might take a moment to walk yourself into exalted or lifted pigeon here. Just a moment to squeeze inner thighs towards each other one last time, one last exertion. You might even draw your arms up overhead. Before exhale, hands to earth, and beginning to fold yourself forward into a resting pigeon. As many breaths as you need to get there. Maybe head is rested onto a mat or a block or your stacked hands. And in this pause, in the shape, notice where your mind goes. And some of us, this is the harder part of the practice. The slowing down, the getting still. And you can anchor your mind on your breath, on your intention. I'll offer up the words, I trust. I am supported in the risings and fallings. I am resilient. And then from here, as you're ready, slowly pressing into hands enough to lift through your upper body, shifting your weight into your right hip enough to bring your left leg around. So now we're in a seated, one-legged position for forward fold if you so choose, Janushirsasana. And you can use your left hand here on the outside for a little support and balance. There is a gentle twist in this shape towards your left center of your leg, left knee, with your torso. And as with all of our forward folds, you can start with that long spine. And then if your body says yes, you might go into some rounding. You might even let your head be supported. There's lots of variations of this. You can even place elbows on blocks and just use your hands to hold your head. Maybe a sigh. These forward folds invite more of the yin style of practice and an inward flow of your attention. When you feel ready, we'll lift up from this side. We'll find all of that on side 2. Left leg can come back and around. Right leg to meet. You can walk it out for a moment if you'd like. You might even notice left and right sides having different stories to tell. And then left knee towards left wrist. And before we descend into the folding shape, one last exertion of class. Squeezing the inner thighs towards each other, finding a lift, maybe freeing your arms, maybe arms overhead. And then exhale. Hands descend and support your upper body to make its way forward. And again, a bolster, block, stacked hands, whatever supports you in the shape. As you scan your body here, you might look for any unnecessary holding in your jaw, in the muscles of your neck, or around your eyes, in your shoulders. You might send your breath down as if you had a straw and could breathe all the way down into your hips, all the way down to the pelvic floor. And again, letting go of anything unnecessary. You might scan the mind, right? The quality of thoughts that you're having. Once again, are there unnecessary thoughts? The judgments. What happens if you suspend them for a moment? Gently, slowly, pressing into hands, walking yourself up, shifting weight into left hip to draw your right leg around, forward-ish, finding your way into this preparatory shape for forward fold over your right leg. Right fingertips can be on the outside as you walk yourself down and slightly towards the right. You might work with that long spine to start. You might begin to fold or curl inward, and you might choose that supported version, blocks under elbows, head and hands. Softening through your tongue, softening through your eyes and jaw. through your lower back. Breathing as if all the way down to your tailbone. Giving it a good sigh. And then slowly walking yourself back up. This time, left leg comes forward to meet the right. And if you'd like, one more forward fold here. And this forward fold starts with staff pose, Dandasana. So we're in it already. Dandasana, you can even place your fingertips on the ground, nice long spine. This is the beginnings of Paschimottanasana, the seated forward fold, and it's a great place to stay. Great place, especially if you have any low back injury or pain. You can even sit up on a block in Dandasana, giving yourself more space. And if it's appropriate for you, if it feels okay in your body, you might walk yourself forward. You might round forward or stay with that long spine. And a few breaths right here. And then slowly coming back. Now I will invite the block to come with you as you descend to your back. We have a few final supine shapes, restorative. And the first of these is a very gentle block supported bridge. So block supported bridge can be with the lowest setting on your block or mid or high, whatever calls to you, but I'll go for gentle. Now you can always do bridge without a block, especially if you don't have one today, and you can clasp your hands underneath there. Now with your hands clasped, it can sometimes be nice just to settle your hips right down onto your hands, and you've got a supported bridge on your arms and hands, whatever version you're taking. A few breaths. And then from our supported shape, whatever height, you might adjust the height for this. I'll invite maybe a transition to a block supported legs up the wall. And some of you might literally move to a wall, or you can stay here in space, or you can drape your feet over the top of a chair. And again, just 2 or 3 breaths right here. Reversing the blood flow from feet and ankles and legs toward your heart, toward your brain. Powerful restorative shape. And you can choose to stay here. You can even take your entire Savasana in this shape, maybe with that wall supported, I'll offer one final variation here, which is to take the block to its lowest setting, and then drawing your right knee in and sending your left leg long. Breathing across the front of your left hip flexor and feeling the squeeze in the right side. And not here long. We're bending left knee, switching it out. I like to draw left knee in before sending right leg long. And then once again, stretch and compression all in one go. Rebending through your right leg, descending your left foot, and maybe sending both legs out for a moment, sending arms up overhead for a moment, feeling this gentle arch of your spine before rebending your legs, pressing into feet, sliding that block out of the way if you've been using it. And then one final compression. Knees into chest, nose towards knees. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, and let it go. Savasana. Oh. Setting up this shape just as you would any other, so that you can release any of the kinks in the joints of your ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, elbows, wrists, throat, neck. Scanning your body, any final adjustments, and then an opportunity to rest in stillness, knowing that once again, you're not bound to that either. You can shift at any point. And if it feels nourishing, pausing, lingering. This is a great place to stay. In fact, I want to encourage you to stay longer. I'm shifting out to return to our poem, which I'd love to read to you as you continue to rest. Poem is called Anthem. It is by Mark Nepo. Yes, you fell down. I feel for you, for I have fallen many times. Now you must get up. I know it isn't easy. I know it will take time. Remember, the seed can't imagine breaking ground, and that the fledgling can't imagine flying. And so, your broken heart can't imagine finding its way. But life is this repeating journey from sleep to wakefulness, from blindness to sight, from fear to love. No matter how many times we fall, we are just beginning. Stay, rest. If you're ready, only when you're ready. The most gentle transition. Wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. Returning to breath. Maybe rolling to one side, rocking on your spine. And eventually pressing back up to sitting, if and only if you're ready. I will close us out today with a gentle bow from my head to heart and from my heart to this space that we share. Trusting, learning how to fall and rise again. Namaste.